What is up, everyone? Happy Friday? I'm assuming almost Saturday for some people, but yeah, here we are. Friday, 30 minutes to go until Sprint Quali. Thank you for joining me for the watch along. I've never done a Sprint Quali watch along before, so we'll see how it goes. I don't think I've ever done a Quali watch along actually. So drop a like, subscribe to the channel if this is your first time watching, listening, all that fun stuff. Let me know that you can hear me and see me, because yeah, it is Friday night. I'm trying to be a little bit quieter because my wife is sleeping in the next room, and yeah, I'm about to wake up in about 5 hours to then hop off to the airport. So hopefully you guys are all doing well. And yeah, looks like we got some people in here already. So thank you for joining me here. On the screen right now is my T1 team. I did watch FP1. That was okay. A little bit bummed that Ollie Behrman went out and kind of took away the soft tire runs there at the end. But it is what it is. I'm just going to go through some early questions here. Christopher says, need some help to decide if I should limitless or not. Budget is around 105 to 106 million, and I have Haas, Mercedes, Piastri, Russell, Alonso, Ocon, and Behrman. Much appreciated. In addition to 3 transfers. Man, it's not a bad squad. I mean, most of those assets are going to rise. You just might have to be patient and not like you have 3 free transfers. I'm trying to figure out what you could do. I guess it depends on if Lando comes out of the gate firing, then maybe you can move Piastri to Lando, Russell to like Albon. I'm trying to remember what Albon's numbers are for a rise here. We've got Mr. Alexander Albon, 10 points for 0.2 rise. Might not be a bad move, Christopher. So, yeah, maybe think about that. Benad says, hi, Ewan and chat. Sorry to have missed last time. I said, like, a good time as always. It was a good time, and glad to have you here. Let's see here. Curious what you would do in my position. My T1 has 3 transfers and no real big problems to solve. Do I punt with Limitless? The team now is Piastri, Ocon, Behrman, Alonso, Hadjar, McLaren, Mercedes. That is a really nice squad, Benads. I'm not going to lie. Like, pretty jealous. Wish my squad was in that spot. As you can see here, I've got to make some moves. I probably won't be making my moves until tomorrow morning, like right before I get on the plane, because I'm actually going to be in the air during the deadline, which kind of sucks. But it is what it is. And yeah, I think you're in a pretty good spot. And it's not a bad option to Limitless. You're in a very strong position. Let's see what Sprint Quali brings along here. Mitchell says, hey. Michael says, hey. He says, where's the man, the legend? Yeah. Hey, Ewan. Hope you good. Don't know who better, Lawson or Alonso. Any advice? Yeah, Brandon, if you have any advice, I would welcome it too, because I am also just as lost still. The only thing that I'm going on off of this weekend, Brandon, is that in the press conference, Lance Stroll and Fernando Alonso were pretty much trying to figure out every different iteration of the English language to not say that Aston Martin is a tractor and there's no way that it's going to improve. So that's not great for their long-term prospects. Also, on the fantastic update channel, F1 Unchained, I don't know if you guys know of this, but like I've been following it for probably the last year, and it's had some huge growth. It's doing great. But they were taking a look at the rear wing, and it looks like a high downforce wing on a low downforce track. I don't know if that was just like a bad picture and they've changed it for FP1 and for Sprint Quali, but that doesn't bode too well for Aston Martin either. So I think I'm leaning Liam Lawson, which is kind of crazy because for like the last 2 weeks I've been leaning Alonso, but it could be time for Lawson to come in here. Rob says, evening guys, first time in here, a few transfers needed this weekend. Welcome, Rob. BO says, not looking like a weekend to do Limitless with Norris and Piastri midfield and P1. But don't worry about that, BO, because Behrman crashed out and kind of cost everyone their soft run. So I wouldn't worry about that at all. Evening all. First time I'm actually able to join the stream live. Glad to have you here, Richo. Thank you. Let's see. Is running McLaren and Mercedes constructor and Russell and Antonelli worth having doing Hadjar and Bortoletto? I don't think so, Joshua. I really don't want doing in my squad taking a 0.6 hit this weekend. Not ideal. Michael says, are the Saubers so bad that maybe we should have both Alonso and Lawson and not run Bortoletto? I wish I could. I'd love that. I'd love to get out of the Sauber game, but I think that's probably where I'm going to have to end up, unfortunately. Well, you know what? I haven't even looked at this, Michael, but I'm pretty sure I can't get there. Because if I want to shove in Ferrari, there's no way that I can afford this, unless you've just blown the game wide open. Yeah, no. I am... How short am I? 1.6 million short of that. So that's probably a no-go for me, but it doesn't mean... I mean, I guess I don't have to bring in Ferrari. Russell was top of the times. He was saying that the car felt a little bit heavy in FP1, but I guess I could bring in both Lawson and Alonso. Maybe not the worst idea in the world, but the thing is, even if Bortoletto DNFs and costs me 20 points, then he's not going to go down in budget, and that's what I'm most concerned about heading into my wild card on Limitless, Michael. So that's where I'm at. But if you have like maybe already played Limitless and you're looking to kind of get a little bit different, don't mind that at all. Raj says, best B tier assets to rise in 2 races in a row. Let's go over here. I'd probably say Hadjar's going to be looking pretty good. Lawson's going to be looking pretty good. Maybe Alonso. But that might be it, because this 22 points is going to fall off of Behrman. Unless he gets another like 20 points this weekend. So Behrman, Hadjar, Lawson would probably be my top 3 there. Raj, we love Mickey. Hagar says, looks... Williams, good thoughts, different. Second constructor is less midfield. Top team. With how AM is looking with Limitless with Alonso on the squad, still be fine. No. Oh, wait, if you played Limitless. I don't expect them to qualify very well. We can go over here to the free practice times. I mean, Stroll was 20th. Alonso managed to put in a time here, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be too mad about Alonso. Like, what does he need here? 5 points, a couple of DNFs, a couple of positions gained. He should get to 5 pretty easily. And then if we go over here to Pat's graphics on the excellent site, f1insights.notion.site, so definitely go check that out. If Alonso gets to 5 points here, he needs 6 points in Imola for another good price rise. If he gets to 11, this is the magic number here for Fernando Alonso this week. He needs 1 point to get another good price rise in Imola. So that is fantastic. So that's kind of where I'm going there. Nixie says, yes, Ewan. Vish says, sup. Blake says, I'm 794th in F1 Fantasy this week, and I'm using my Limitless chip. Congrats, Blake. That is a fantastic start to the season. What is the rest of your squad looking like? Based on qualities, looking at using Limitless chip with McLaren, Ferrari, Lando, Oscar, Charles, Max, George. Thoughts? Pretty sure that's going to be about as template as it gets with the Limitless team, and that is fantastic because using your Limitless chip is a differential enough. So you'll be fine there. So don't worry about that, Vish. Blake, you should probably just see that team that's right there. You should probably play that team. Unless Mercedes looks really good here coming up in Sprint Quali. Yep, just answered that, Blake. Joe says, I have the same team and 3 transfers as Benat's. Maybe wait for Imola for Limitless? I'm waiting for Imola for Limitless because I'm planning to kind of set my team up like this. I am probably going to be bringing in Liam Lawson and Gabriel Bortoletto, and that leaves me with enough for Ferrari, and that's where I'm going to be looking at, Joe. and that'll set me up for Imola. So that's really what you have to do here. If you're not playing Limitless this week, you got to set yourself up for Imola, maybe Monaco, maybe Spain, that sort of stuff. So just take a look ahead. The thing is, Bortoleto isn't that bad because he's probably going to qualify last. Exactly. He could get like 3 or 4 points this weekend, or maybe even hit like 7 or 8, and he'll be fine. Leapsfrog says Alonso Lawson works with Mercedes. Yeah, I agree. It feels like Ferrari, Leapsfrog, the reigning world champ in F1 Fantasy. So thank you for being in the chat, Leapsfrog. Appreciate that a lot. The thing is, I just think Ferrari's probably going to be the better long-term investment with Imola coming up. It is going to be hot this weekend, even though there's supposed to be a little bit of rain on Sunday. It just feels like Ferrari might be nice to have in right now, maybe be a step ahead of the rest of the field, despite having Hamilton in there. I think Hamilton and Antonelli are probably a wash. Russell and Leclerc are probably a wash. So it comes down to like team quali and pit stop points, and Ferrari are dominating in that regard. So that's probably why I'm trying to get in Ferrari more than most assets this week. Richo says, I'm tempted to limitless this weekend. Team is McLaren, V-Carb, Piastri, Russell, Behrman, Hadjar, and Bortoleto. I'm chasing down one sibling in my family and trying to stay ahead of the other. That's a pretty good team to limitless with, because you should gain some major budget this weekend. Ferrari or Mercedes from Nico. We're just gonna have to wait to see. But Michael says here, the Mercs have new engines. Yeah, so at one point in FP1, they were talking about this on F1 TV, and they were saying that it's all 6 Mercedes power units were in there, and all 6 Mercedes cars this weekend, Mercedes engines cars, have taken on new power units this weekend. So maybe that's why they're looking pretty nice right now. They've all got a little bit of a boost and a little bit of extra juice in the engine going on this weekend. So maybe that's something, because yeah, it was both Williams, both McLarens, and both Mercedes up there in the top 6. And that was maybe about 20-25 minutes to go in FP1. So that was a good note from Sam Collins. Silent Sinner says, stupid to take a -10 and swap Mercedes Ocon Doohan to Ferrari Alonso Bottas instead of just rolling the transfer and Doohan to Bottas, right? Oh, man, that is tough. I think I'd just be a little bit patient, Silent Sinner, because having 3 transfers is so nice and creates a lot of flexibility. Nebisvike says, after the free practice, Hamilton being absolutely nowhere, do you still think Ferrari pit stop points are better than Mercedes? I mean, it makes a difference. We can go look over here on the fantastic F1 Fantasy Tools website, which if you actually sign up today with promo code UN50, you'll get 50% off your first month, and you'll get all of the next 4 Grand Prix over the next month. So, yeah, that would be great. If you want to do that, I would highly recommend doing that. I have the filters on here, so select all. Let's go down here to the constructors. So 56 points in Japan, and then Ferrari is starting to stretch their legs a little bit here. 73-60 in Bahrain, 64-46 in Saudi, which was a little bit warmer. Mercedes kind of went backwards a little bit with the tire deg. Ferrari did okay. Charles Leclerc was able to extend the stint and did fantastically well. And if you remove all of this and put in the pit stop points and even quality teamwork, we can see here that Ferrari 21 points above 14 for Mercedes, 10 points difference every week. I think that's okay, because I think the top 5 is established. And then 6 and 7 is really between Antonelli and Hamilton every weekend. And then 8th is Yuki. So it really comes down to Leclerc versus Russell. And if that seems pretty tight, then it does come down to something as minimal as the pit stop points. Mr. Feet 89 says, evening you in chat. Shout out to the Fantasy Tools Discord team. They are crushing it. They always crush it. Is the qualifying delayed? I haven't seen anything, but I'm also not looking on the old Twitterverse. So we will see here. I don't see anything. So hopefully not. I just started the stream at like 30 minutes early so we could just kind of chit chat before we get through before we get to sprint qualifying here in 15 minutes. Christopher says Limitless or save. If you don't feel great about Limitless, saving the transfer is not a problem. Nicholas says Mercedes or Ferrari. I'm still leaning Ferrari. Behrman or Ocon? I'm leaning Behrman because he just needs less points this weekend for a max price rise. If the 3X chip only affects driver points and you currently have 2 A-tier drivers, example Piastri/Norris or Piastri/Russell, why do so many wait to use it instead of trying it now for Miami? Thoughts? I guess just to like have even bigger scores, because then you can have 2 A-tier constructors and stuff, and you don't have to like break up your team as much, so it's not as bad. I guess that's my main thing. I do think Ferrari not having upgrades, but Mercedes having them in Imola is a concern. You mean this weekend, Leapsfrog? Like Ferrari won't have upgrades this weekend, but they will in Imola. What is the weather like for this weekend? That is a great question, Leapsfrog. Miami International Autodrome. So Sunday, right now, we go to 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock. 20% chance of rain, 15% chance of rain, but we can go here to maybe the AccuWeather. Maybe that'll be a little bit better. Alonso or Lawson, currently leaning Lawson. I will change my team after quality to see if Ferrari or Mercedes are faster. Yeah, I think I agree with that, Blake. I think you can just kind of wait and see what happens here over the next hour. Let's see here. Pleasant tomorrow, they say. Let's go back to Leapsfrog questions there. Where are you? Daily. Is anyone else? I've moved to Germany. I've become like a sparkling water fanatic. And flavored sparkling water is pretty good. So that's what I drink quite a lot of now. All right. Friday, 28, 23, Saturday, 30 degrees, 23 degrees low with a 25% chance of precipitation. And then on Sunday, 65% chance. So let's go look at this, hopefully hourly weather we get here. Afternoon. 65% chance of precipitation. 3 millimeters. Mostly cloudy with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. Still pretty hot. 29 degrees Celsius. What is that, about 80-ish? 81, 82, 83 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's not going to be cool. So that's one thing. But yeah. Christoph says best team for $112 million budget. Well, you are flying high there, Christoph. So we can go... Sorry. Here we go. Let me just... Can add a manual team. Oh, wait, no. I don't need a manual team. Let's go here. 112. I mean, we don't have any sims right now, but we can go check it out. McLaren, Mercedes, Piastri, Behrman, Ocon, Stroll, Hadjar is the most expected points based on weighted average. If you want to build the most budget, you've got Haas, Williams, Norris, Piastri, Albon, Behrman, Ocon, which is scoring you 41 less points than the biggest. 112 is crazy. Leapsfrog for all you have upgrades in Imola. What team will you select, and will you use Limitless? I'm going to use Limitless on my T2 squad here. So we can go over here. I haven't activated it yet, but I'm thinking this team looks pretty set. Piastri, Bortoleto, Hadjar, Ocon, Behrman, McLaren, Mercedes. Most 6 of those 7 should rise. So I'm pretty happy to Limitless out of them, or Limitless this squad, and then figure it out when we get to Imola, how to kind of move things around. And for the Limitless chip, I'll play triple McLaren, Russell, Leclerc, probably Max, because I just can't imagine playing my Limitless chip without Max Verstappen. That seems kind of crazy to me. And then I'll just wait to see who the best constructor is between Ferrari and Mercedes. But right now there are almost 100 of you guys watching, but only 17 likes. So I usually try to get to like 50% likes. So if you can help me out, smash that thumbs up button. We would greatly appreciate it. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, as you can see all the way at the top here, the countdown to 3,000 is well and truly on, and we are at 2944, so only 56 more to go. So if you are one of the 56 that I would love to get to 3,000, please hit that subscribe button as well. Dr. Look says, hey from Cape Town, what is up? I thought Ferrari's delaying the upgrades. I'm not sure. Delayed for Behrman. Watch quali, Mercedes will be faster than Ferrari. Could be that because Ferrari is not having a great quali start to the year, but race pace, I think it's Leclerc, right now. Ferrari or Merc, it's really a toss-up. I'm leaning Ferrari just because of the pit stop points and the team qualification, teamwork right now. Zane, so that's where I'm going. Merc look better. Yes, but I'm also just kind of considering like Imola and how I think Ferrari's starting to get it together. J Camp says, is there a certain breakpoint in budget where you would focus more on budget building rather than points currently at 107.7 and trying to decide where to go? I think I would keep building budget with that squad there, J Camp. Jivko says, I have 109.7 budget with 3 transfers for this Grand Prix with Piastri times 2, the meta team. What should I do? Can you advise? Yeah, I guess it would depend on the squad. Let me scroll down here to see what. Oh, can I increase the volume output? Sorry. I can talk a little bit louder. I'm not like, let me see here. Where are we at? I'm actually maxed out, so I'll just try to talk a little bit louder. Sorry about that. Chris says evening. Oh, sorry, back to this. What I'm doing is I'm trying to get Ferrari, Bortoletto, and Lawson or Alonso into my team, just kind of depending. Anvit says, I have to cover up 68 points to my friend. When should I use Limitless in 3X? He already used 3X and will use Limitless in Imola or Monaco. I really don't care about cap building. Thanks. Well, you should, because then you're definitely going to beat your friend by the end of the year there, Anvit. So I don't think you don't need to worry about your 3X right now. If you have a good squad to build budget this weekend that will score you points and help you out further down the line, then you could Limitless this weekend. But yeah. And thoughts for the Limitless team. The 2X driver considered the driver of the day possibility for the new father on the grid. That would be in line with how random the rest of the driver of the days have been, Nebesvike. So I don't hate that. I think if I was playing Limitless, I wouldn't mind making the captain or DRS boost a little bit different. So any of Piastri, Norris, or Verstappen would be fine for me. Where are you based in Germany, Ewan says Craig? I'm from Salzburg-ish. I'm on the opposite side of the south there, Craig. I am actually in Stuttgart. Let's see. Loosey-goosey with sail to Fahrenheit. Yeah, got to get the loosey-goosey math in every episode, Michael. It is becoming a little bit better there. I'm starting to try and make it not as loosey-goosey, more just goosey. Can you increase the volume? Hopefully I'm talking a bit louder. Isidro, thank you for letting me know. Hussein says hello. What do you think a good expected price change points conversion number? This is my first season. I'm not really sure how things usually shake out over the year. That is something that I haven't really dived into all that much, Minion Golf. So maybe someone smarter than me in the chat can help you out there. Bernard says, yeah, for me, I'm definitely thinking Limitless for T3. I want to move out Alpine as quick as possible. The squad there is Piastri, Russell, Ocon, Behrman, Hadjar, McLaren, Alpine. Yeah, brutal. Let's see here. That's the second time I've said captain in like the last 5 live streams, says Nixie. I guess I was making my lineup this afternoon. So I think I ended up putting it on Bowen against Spurs for this weekend. So we'll see how it goes. I'm all based on vibes right now because I'm 200K. So I don't think I'm going to be able to crack 100K so far this season. That'll be the first season I'm actually outside the top 100K, which is a little disappointing, but it is what it is. Blake says, should I save my transfers to use the final fix chip in Monaco? The final fix chip doesn't count against your transfers, Blake, so you don't have to worry about anything there. Rob says, team is Kimi, Oscar, Oliver, Isaac, and Gabrielle, Mercedes and Haas. I'm thinking Kimi to Lawson and Haas to McLaren. No idea when to use chips. I kind of like that. That's a pretty nice squad there, Rob. Yeah, I would do those transfers. Do you think the meta team is still viable? Yep. I mean, I think my T1 team will. Let me go back here. Where are you? I mean, outside of Duin, if I had Bortoleto instead of Duin, that would be what I consider the template team right now. So I'm going to be pretty close to that. I've got 3 free transfers, so I can get to it, and I can get Ferrari in. The nice thing about having the 3 free transfers is it does enable me to bring in Ferrari this week. I assume there's going to be a lot of people that bring in Ferrari, just because they do look like they're getting a little bit stronger. The pit stop points has been like quite a big topic of conversation in the F1 fantasy community this week. And we'll just see. It just feels like Ferrari are maybe starting to get it together a little bit. The disqualification in China just like was a cloud hanging over them. And it has to get a little bit better, right? It can't be that bad. So, yeah. Which drivers do you expect to gain budget in both Miami and Imola? Says Fred the Red. Hopefully a Liverpool Red there, says Fred. Because, they're back on our perch. Let's go here, says for Fred here. So Piastri will gain max points or max budget in Miami and Imola. I expect Behrman to still gain max budget as well. I think he'll have a good weekend despite his crash in FP1. Hajar's a good candidate as well. Lawson possibly Alonso as well. And if Bortoleto has an okay weekend, I don't hate that idea either. So you see here, this is Lawson. If he scores 8 points this weekend, he needs 7 for the following weekend, which gives me a little bit of pause, but I think if he could score like 10, 12, 13 points, like this is going to be in the 3s or 4s range for a good price rise. So 0.8 gained over 2 weeks is not bad at all. Whereas Alonso, if he gets 11 points this week, he'll need 1 point for a good price rise in Imola, which makes him a little bit more tempting. But Aston Martin is still seriously not that good. Is it worth to use Limitless with 3 transfers, though? I wouldn't use Limitless. If you have 3 free transfers this week, I probably wouldn't use Limitless. I kind of was considering it last week if Gasly didn't fall and Duin didn't fall, but because they're both falling, I can't really use Limitless this week. Do we score points for sprint qualifying? We do not score points for sprint qualifying, Andrew, but good question. Thoughts on using Limitless before anyone else and privately, strategically, would it be better to wait for others to use it first? No, if it's the right time to play Limitless for your team, Richo, go ahead and do that. Piastri, Russell, Behrman, Hajar, Bortoleto, McLaren, Haas. Should I activate Limitless? Yeah. That seems like a fine squad to play your Limitless on, Maramick. Forgot my FPL deadline, so I make sure I do the F1 time and time. Yeah, you have 19 and a half hours there, Mr. Fee, so you're fine. I have 105 million. Should I prioritize budget building on points? I'd prioritize budget building to get yourself back in the game there, Nihar. What's the best setup for Limitless next week? 5 minutes, time to qualify. Let me come back to that, Mr. Fee here. So my thoughts are going to get rid of these 2 Alpine guys. I'm going to bring in Bortoleto as a paperweight because he can't go down. And then 1 of Lawson and Alonso. And then I'll also bring in Ferrari as my other squad. But if you don't want to bring in Ferrari, you could bring in Lawson and Alonso. Someone suggested that earlier, which I didn't hate. But I think depending on what we see in 1 minute, so we can start getting that lined up here. I've got 2 websites here. Oh, well, that one didn't work, so that's not great. So I guess we'll go to the other one. Something went wrong again. There we go. Hopefully that works out. Because I was trying to get... Oh, here we go. So I've got live timing news here and f1-.com. Let me know which one you guys prefer to look at while we watch this together. I'm going to get my phone set up here real quick. So give me a second. Isidro says, I believe Mercedes will be more solid this weekend. Don't you? I understand the fast pit stops for Ferrari, but to be completely real, Mercedes is outperforming. We saw it in practice one, right? Yeah, but if Mercedes is overperforming and Ferrari is underperforming, then eventually that's going to come back, right? You'd have to think. Nihar says, should I go budget build with Haas V-Carb or points with McLaren Mercedes at 105 million budget right now? Maybe just kind of a little bit of both there, Nihar. Maybe one of McLaren Mercedes and one of Haas V-Carb. Where can I find those price change graphics for each driver? It's on this website here, Fred the Red, f1insights.notion.site. So make sure you check that out. We've got some drivers on track here, looking pretty good. My current team, Piastri, Behrman, Ocon, Hadjar, Doohan, McLaren, and Mercedes. Should I change Ocon, Doohan, Mercedes for I wouldn't limitless that team, Ed, because, oh wait, you only have Doohan. You don't need Gasly, or you don't have Gasly. It depends on your risk tolerance there, Ed, because if I had someone that was definitely falling 0.6 million, I don't think I would play limitless, but that's just me. So yeah, that kind of is what it is. Let me, I gotta turn off Bluetooth here because otherwise my AirPods will connect to the laptop instead of to my phone where I can listen to Alex Jax. There we go. I think that sounds a little bit better. Let's see here. Okay, gotta figure out how much of a delay I'm on. And then hopefully you guys don't mind if I am on a delay and we can still chit chat. So if you have any more questions, just keep asking them, keep firing away, and we'll go through it all together. Let's see here. Let's make a poll. Who takes the sprint poll? Lando, Oscar, Max, other. Let me know who you guys think is going to take sprint pole here in the sprint qualifying right now. So I'm at 9:30 left right now in SQ1. So I need to delay this a little bit. Where are you here? So this is at 9 minutes. Okay, I'm 15 seconds behind this, so that's what I'm going to do. Okay, let's see how this goes. Christian says, limit this week with Piastri, Russell, Behrman, Hadjar, Bortoleto, McLaren, Haas, or do I change Russell, Haas for Alonso, Ferrari, and limitless in Imola? Or I change Russell, Haas for Alonso, Ferrari, and limitless in Imola. Man, I don't know. That's a tough one, Christian. I think I don't mind limitlessing this week with that squad. That's not bad at all, actually. So, okay, I'm like 2 seconds behind the live timing, so I can survive that. Isidro says, do you pay for the F1 annual subscription? Where do you watch it? So, because I'm in Germany, Isidro, it comes with this WoW TV app that I have for German Sky Sports. It's all in German, so I don't really understand it all that well, but I get the pictures, and that's mostly what matters to me. But my little brother that lives in the States has F1 TV, and he swears by it, says it's phenomenal. Richo says, thoughts on the new liveries? Personally, not a fan of the blue and Ferrari. Yeah, it looks like the printer ran out of ink, Richo. I actually tweeted that out when F1 posted the picture. Yeah, don't like that at all. I do like the V-Carb one. That one's pretty nice. And then did Mercedes come out with a new livery, or did they just have new clothes that everyone's wearing? I can't remember now. But yeah, the V-Carb one is nice. The Kick Sour one is just like whatever. And the Ferrari one is awful. Benad says, would you bring in Lawson for Gasly and Ferrari for Mercedes? The team already has Alonso. Sorry if that made no sense. It makes perfect sense, Benad. Don't worry about it. If you can get Alonso and Lawson and Ferrari, I like that quite a bit, actually. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Let's go over here. Where are we at? Verstappen is on a cooldown lap, I guess. Where are we looking at here? Anyone in danger? Let's see. I guess Leclerc is going on his flying lap right now. See, it doesn't look too bad from the front, but it looks pretty bad from the back. Like, not good at all. So Leclerc, oh, he's 4/10 off. That's not that great. Don't love that. But Hamilton, it is a sprint weekend. So, yeah, you never know. Is he going to bring back more Ferrari magic? We will see. We are 2 subscribers away from 2950, guys. So if you're watching and you're not subscribed, thank you for tuning in, watching the sprint qualifying watch along. And yeah, drop a question, subscribe to the YouTube channel, always appreciated as well. But yeah, we're just kind of watching sprint together. Anyone got any takeaways? Does anyone look bad? Let's watch. I'm on Lando's flying lap right now. Right now, the poll has Oscar at 58%, Lando at 42% for who takes the sprint poll. No one is voting for Max. No one is voting for other either. So it looks like you guys are believing that McLaren is going to dominate this right here. Plan for the end of this episode is that I'll kind of like reset the whole episode after quali and just do like my final thoughts before, and then I'm going to cut that up. And then just post that as like a 15-minute episode at the end of this. Julia said, I think you can watch F1 TV with a VPN in Germany. I'm thinking about it because I really don't like Ralph Schumacher and how often they interview Helmut Marko. That is a good idea, Julia. I might need to look into that. Yeah. Because that would be quite handy to definitely watch it in English. Sometimes I can get English like on other streams and stuff like that, or if I'm like at a bar, they'll play it in English sometimes. But for free practice, it's not too bad. For qualifying, it's not awful. It's kind of annoying for the race though, but you do get the Sky Sports graphics, which is nice. So, but if you guys stand by F1 TV, let me know and I will have to look into that for sure. But thank you for the tip, Julia. I appreciate that. Lots of people touching that wall right there. Seems like that's going to be a problem. Damn, this does not like my delay here. What is this? Sprint qualifying 1. Okay, 3 minutes to go. So I'm about 50 seconds behind this. Let me see here. Oh, this is like not updating automatic. Oh, there we go. Okay. So we got some drivers probably going to go out here on their final flying lap, but maybe some guys won't go out on their final flying lap. No, Norris is on an out lap. Oh no. Is that doing? So danger zone right now. Doohan, Sonoda, Bortoleto, Behrman, Hadjar. Yikes. Man, if both Aston Martins got out of Q1, that would be a pretty big shock, actually. So, but it seems like some people have left since Sprint Quali started. So it looks like it's just a few of us right now. So if you have a question that you want to ask, now is a great time, because usually the chat is blowing up quite a bit, and I feel like sometimes I miss questions. So if you have anything you want to talk about with F1 or life, or why I am streaming at 10:40 on a Friday night, about 5 hours before I have to go get on a train to the plane, fire away and I will ask them. So I've got about 2 minutes left here in Sprint Quali, so I will be a little bit behind you guys here, I think. But let's see here. Is this all back up? Okay, so I'll go back here. I'll be over here on f1-dash.com. I was gonna say dash, but yeah, that's something right there. Okay, let's see if these drivers can knock out Aston Martin and maybe give me something to think about with Fernando Alonso, because if it goes out in Q1, then one red flag, who knows what happens. Is Alonso a better pick than Ocon? I don't think so, Fred the Red. Like, Ocon still just needs 12 points. He had 15 a couple of races ago, and I think he had like 24 in China in the last in the last sprint. So it might be hard for Ocon to rise next week. We can actually go check it out. Where did we go? Mr. Ocon, where are you? Let's pop this open. So 12 this week, 17 the following week. That is a little bit tough. So I don't hate that at all. Joe says, where are you going in the States? I'm going to Texas to visit some family. I'm going to go see my nephew. Going to go see my niece for the first time that was born last year. So pretty excited about that. And my in-laws. So that'll be fun. I won't be going to Miami. That would be pretty sweet, but not this time, unfortunately. So yeah, I'll be in Texas watching it, but that means I get to watch it at a pretty good time zone, so I'm not too bad. Peter says, I use F1 TV as my job takes me all over. It's the only reliable service, English, either F1 Comedy or Sky UK. Okay, I'm starting to get convinced here, guys. Let me let's see. So we've got Sonoda is out. Oh, Sonoda's out. Doohan's out. Behrman's out. Bortoletto's out. Hulkenberg. Wow, that is wild. So many people missed the flag. So Hajar's in. Dang. Wow. And Alonso's going to make it too. Wow. Oh, Stroll got knocked out in the end, even though 4 drivers didn't even make the checkered flag for their flying lap. Ooh, Signs. Yeah. Oh yeah. Can you imagine, Sammy, if Hajar was in P20? That would be happy days. Sonoda and Limitless? I don't think so, Christoph. I like the idea, but I don't think so. That's a little ambitious. Maybe. No. Surely not. Man, I mean, I don't know. That's not the worst idea I've ever heard. Dang. Ooh, Max and Lando having words. Wow. What happened here with Sonoda? Yuki just missed. That's wild. Albon just made my heart skip a beat. He just beat Norris. Yeah. Where's he at? Yeah, wow. What, 300ths up on Norris? Hold on, this is kind of confusing, this timing sheet, but that's okay. Damn. Sonoda on Limitless? No. Surely not. Ouch. Doing not a happy chappy. As Michael says, I just listened to that. Yikes. Christoph says, how about Red Bull greater than Ferrari constructor? Now we're cooking. Now we're talking about some deadline stream madness, but yeah. That's a lot of points. That's a lot of points there. Fred the Red says, so is the general consensus that we prefer B tier drivers to be out in Q1? Yes, that is how insane this game is, Fred the Red, that we want our drivers to be out in Q1 because then they have more chances to move up the field and qualify or get positions gained and overtakes and score more points. It's the game we love. It's the game we play. So sad to see Bearman at the bottom. Yeah, but he'll rise, Richo. It'll be okay. Good deal. Are Williams a potential buy? Maybe. Sonoda, a lot of possible overtake points. Great point. Great point. Yeah. But yeah, Stroll, man. What happened to him? Julian Palmer is saying that Max may have impeded Lance Stroll. That would be interesting. That'd be very good for Limitless teams if they could get Max Verstappen with a grid penalty in there. Because he'd probably overtake some people. Behrman-Hulkenberg incident impeding noted. Damn, Doohan is mad. Doohan is hot. He's not feeling good right now. Dang. Jack Doohan does not seem like a happy chappy. I feel the Williams guys are in for a good points haul this week if you accept the price drop. Yeah, it could be like long-term gain for points, but just like a little bit of pain in the budget department. Great point by Colin. So let's see. I mean, Albon could get 21 points this week. Alpine treating Doohan like they really want to drop him. Yeah, I kind of touched on it in my transfer target episode that like Doohan's not really getting it done, but I mean that's clearly on the team. He can't be held accountable for that, so that sucks. Some people have come back for the little intermission here between during SQ1, SQ2. So if you're new, give the video a like and yeah. Hit subscribe because we are 52 subscribers away from 3,000 on YouTube, which is absurd. But if you're not one of them and you want to be one of the final 52 to cross the 3,000 subscriber threshold, you will have my thanks. So Behrman crashed in SQ1. I don't know if that kind of hampered him in qualifying. I didn't get to listen to all the commentary. Like I got to hear it, but since I'm talking and stuff and dead air on a stream is not that great, I can't listen to all the commentary. So maybe we'll get something from an interview from him soon. Bernard says, Colin, I'm really excited for Williams to start increasing because they could get the points. Yeah, it's really great. Let's get this man a 3K. That would be greatly appreciated. I appreciate it, Mitchell. And you were here right at the beginning, so you're still watching. So I appreciate that too. Let's see. What have we got? I think it is Zakacha. Zachaka. So, yeah. I think I'm still leaning towards them right now, but let's see how that all ended up. Verstappen, Alonso. Oh, wait. Oh, we're rocking and rolling already. Okay, never mind. But Stroll, Doohan, Tsunoda, Bortoleto, Behrman all out in SQ1. But Behrman needs 4 points. He could get that tomorrow, and we could be on for a max price rise for Behrman. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. Behrman here, that's actually someone we haven't looked at yet on this screen, but maybe we should. So 4 points, and then he'll need 24 in Imola. But, I mean, if he scores 12 points, that'll come down. I mean, he'd probably need like 20 points to get back down into the single digits for Imola, which could be tough. But I don't mind it at all. Behrman, still a great shout in F1 Fantasy. Probably won't be going anywhere for a minute here. But yeah, do you think Max... Let's see here. Sorry, I'm yawning. It's like 11 o'clock at night now. Okay, so Oscar wins that poll. Let's see. Start a new poll. Should Verstappen have gotten a penalty? So I'd really like Lawson or Alonso to go out here in SQ2 and one of them to go through to SQ3, because I don't want this decision to become any more difficult than it already is. 80% of you guys think that Max should have gotten a penalty. I think I agree. I think that was penalty worthy. Kind of crazy. 5:52 p.m. here. So that means Brazil. That's the Brazilian time zone there, right? Zachaka? Formula Fantasy Hub says no SQ1 exits from the front runners. The chance for sprint overtakes shrinks. Lawson and Alonso squeeze through. Not as exciting for decisions this weekend as I would have hoped. Maybe SQ2 brings a surprise. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Canada. Dang it. Because Brazil is also 1 hour ahead of East Coast. So that must be the same time zone. I didn't know that. I didn't know that Canada went 1 hour before East Coast as well. It is huge. Let's see here. What do we got? So Russell, is he just on an outlap? Oh, he's not going purple sectors anywhere. So he's 600ths back of Antonelli. So Antonelli's feeling it a little bit this weekend. Albon goes. Great question, Christoph. Actually, I'm not entirely sure what tire they'll be using tomorrow. I would expect... I can't remember. Do they usually use the medium for the sprint race? Get some data? I don't know. Can anyone help Christoph out? That's a pretty good question. Will they all be using hard tires for tomorrow? Piastri goes 2/10 clear of Norris. Antonelli is cooking. Let's go Oscar. I'm looking at signs in for Gasly. I'm sticking with Mercedes and rolling a transfer. Damn, yeah. I mean, at least you're scoring more points there, I think. Who is going slow here? Is this Hamilton? Russell, not a fan of the medium. So they can both get 2 runs in here. Oh, I guess it looks like these bottom 6 guys are all just going for 1 lap. Alonso, Sainz. Zachaka says, would it be better to limitless in Imola or Monaco? We could talk about this here real quick. I am leaning towards Imola because there are some overtakes possible. It's a cleaner track. Like there's some, I think it's mostly gravel from what I can remember. But like you can survive that. In Monaco, if you go off the track, you're in the wall. So like that's just game over. And Monaco, if someone like kind of qualifies out of position, it's really unlikely that they're going to get any of those positions back in Monaco, which sucks. Plus, if you limitless in Monaco, you can't play final fix to like fix your limitless, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, I don't know. Tough, but I'm leaning Imola right now. Mac Attack says, limitless, Mercedes greater than Ferrari seems right. It does right now, but Ferrari seems to kind of have a little bit more race pace than Mercedes, at least last week in Jeddah where it was hot, and it feels like that's going to be the same this weekend. But we'll see what happens here over the next 3 minutes of SQ2 and the end of SQ3. Brandon says, do you think Mercedes is better to stick with rather than Mercedes? Or I'm guessing you mean Ferrari there, Brandon. They look rapid. Yeah, Antonelli looks pretty good. I think one of his weaker weekends was China. I mean, it was his second full race weekend in F1, so that makes sense. But it looks like he's kind of learned from that and having a better overall weekend. Benad says, I literally need 0.1 to make the same trade. I guess my T2 team needs to improve a bit more budget at 109.8. That's still pretty good budget, Benads, because that's more than me. It's about to pop up right above my head here. As you can see, I'm at 108.2 right now. So, yeah. But we are just over 19 hours away from the deadline. Just so people know, this is the last piece of content that I'll be making before the deadline because I'll be on a plane tomorrow. So, just saying. So after sprint qualifying, I'll stay on the stream, but I'm kind of going to do like a reset-y vibe thing. And if you guys have any questions, drop them in the chat. I'll answer them at the end for like 5 minutes, and then I'll probably post that as like a standalone episode. But if you guys have been here the entire time, thank you so much. It's been super fun. I'm still going to be here for the next 30 minutes. Don't worry. I'm not going anywhere, but just so you guys know. So if you see a new video pop up tomorrow, but you stick around until the end of the stream tonight, you will have already seen that. But feel free to watch it again. If you really want to support the channel, always welcome. Let's see, what else have we got? So we got 1:20 to go here. Antonelli does seem locked in this week. Hamilton seems like the same we've seen so far this year. That's why mostly. Yeah, that's a good point, Mac Attack. Do you prefer Ocon Bortoleto or Alonso Lawson for the next 2 races? Mainly going for budget and using limitless and Imola. Also, what did Gasly just do? Ooh. Verstappen goes ahead of Piastri. .44 seconds to go. I have more faith in the overall Mercedes package as we can. What would be the best squad if I do limitless in Miami? So Colin, I think I'm starting to agree a little bit. It does look pretty solid. Dang, Gasly's. Oof, that's brutal. I think right now it's going to be triple McLaren, George, Charles Leclerc, Max Verstappen, and then it's going to come down to Ferrari versus Mercedes. But I think right now people seem to be leaning a little bit Mercedes. 57% of you guys think that Max should have had a penalty for impeding right there. second constructor this weekend. Let's see here. Hopefully that answers your question, Julia. Let me know if I did not answer it correctly. All right, here we go. We're watching. Norris goes top, Verstappen second, Piastri third in the pits. Leclerc's through. Hamilton's in 12th right now. Alonso goes into 7th. He's going to go ahead of Hadjar, Hulkenberg, Ocon, Albon. Oh, Carlos Sainz is out. Yikes. Oof, Antonelli looks on it this weekend. That's impressive. That might be it, folks. That might be it. That might be what pushes me over the edge to go with Lawson over Alonso. Because that Aston Martin is a tractor, and it's gonna fall. But Lawson could improve. So I think that might do it. That might be the thing that pushes me over the edge from Alonso to Lawson. Yep, here we go, Colin. I worry that Alonso will drop like a stone in the race. I think I agree. But Michael says, I'm feeling the Mercs. I think I am too, Michael. Why did Carlos back off? Yeah, track limits. Yeah, I think Lawson. 75% of you guys are saying Mercedes over Ferrari right now as we head into SQ3. That is interesting. That is very interesting. So, while we wait for SQ3 to start, that gives me a little bit of... So, let's see here. Let me refresh this page here. So, Gasly doing Hadjar. So, say... Let's see. If I kept Mercedes, right? I'd have 14.6 million to play with. That is not going to be enough for Lawson. Well, it'll be Lawson plus. Yeah, I mean, that's really it. That could get me to Lawson and Alonso, but I don't love that either. Lawson, Bortoletto. Still short of Max. All right, let's see what you guys are saying here. Fred the Red says 107.9 million budget and need 2 drivers to go with: McLaren, Mercedes, Piastri, Hadjar, Behrman. Both Alonso and Lawson is within budget, but not sure if that's good. I think that's fine. I'm actually kind of thinking about that a little bit there, Fred the Red, as well. Gasly has a full head of hair again. Yes. Hadjar again in P3. Not liking Alonso right now. What about out Gasly doing an in Lawson Alonso? Yeah. I just literally looking at that, Sebastiano. Thanks for joining and thanks for suggesting. What driver for 2X this weekend should no negative be a possibility? No, I don't think so. I'm still a little bit hesitant. I know it's 65% chance, but 3 millimeters? That just doesn't feel like a lot. I don't know. That doesn't feel like a lot, right? But I don't know how drastically that will affect the tires. Colin says Bortoletto and Sainz. Can I get there, Colin? Are you about to blow my mind? Are you about to blow my mind here, Colin? Oh, Colin. Colin. What? Hello. That's a little tasty. That's a little tasty indeed. But that could also be a 0.6 fall. Ugh, I don't know. Because I'm at 108.2, Colin, I think I would avoid it, but it is spicy. If I had enough money to go with Alonso instead of Bortoleto, would I do it? Yes, I definitely would do that. 100%. Joshua, if Merck looks strong, I'm tempted to go McLaren, Mercedes, Russell, Antonelli, Hadjar, Bortoleto, Doohan, and just take Doohan's price drop. Yeah, I don't hate that either. Alonso better than Lawson in quali, but who has better race pace? I think it's going to be the Racing Bulls, Adolfo. I have Piastri, double Haas, Bortoleto, and Hadjar, McLaren. I'm considering. I like that. Mercedes a risk of disqualification with how low it is. Yeah, I just saw Albon. Did Albon say something about that? He doesn't know how that Mercedes is legal. No chip wasting this week. Yeah, probably. Sainz going to lose 0.6. Now confused. Should I swap Kimi for Liam in order to get McLaren T1 109.3 million? I mean, McLaren are going to score the most points, so I don't hate that at all. Colin says anytime. Sainz needs 34 points for 0.6, sadly. Yeah, it is bad. Missed the end of Q2. Housemate walked in. Anything spicy happened? Sainz went off the track. How about just Bortoleto, Ocon, Behrman, Hadjar? I don't know. For my team? Can I do that, Michael? Michael, are you also going to be... I'm not good at being this confused. It's not all. That's not good. Yeah, I can get Ocon in. And Bortoleto. That's kind of nice. That's a bunch of price rising. But Imola might be tough because I'm trying to limitless in Imola, Michael. So that's the thing. Brandon, does Ferrari have better race pace? Hopefully we'll find out. They'll probably post some data later tonight, Brandon, or early tomorrow morning. So there we go. So no limitless just joined. Depends on your team. Lado. Recommend Albon? He can get a 0.2 price rise. He's not going to get a 0.6 price rise. Interstate_40. What do I think is the consensus team for limitless? Triple McLaren, George, Leclerc, Verstappen, and then between Ferrari and Mercedes. But it says 67% of the chat right now is saying that Mercedes is their preferred second constructor. Adolfo, right now I'm thinking McLaren, Mercedes, Piastri, Behrman, Hadjar, Bortoleto, Ocon, maybe Lawson, and do limitless the next race. Yeah, I like that a lot. Adolfo. Yeah, I might go with that, says Michael. Yes. 6 minutes to go. I guess drivers are going to get 2 runs out of this. It'll be close. Or maybe some guys are just going for 1 lap. Piastri, Hadjar. Oh, sorry, Zakacha. Piastri, Hadjar, Ocon, Behrman, Alonso, McLaren, Mercedes, keeping limitless in mind for Imola, or going for Ferrari? I think I'm keeping limitless in mind for Imola, obviously. But I do like Bortoleto for budget safety, because he can't fall here or in Imola, so that's kind of nice too. Fred the Red said, since Alonso is going to qualify top 10, is it still possible he gains budget or nah? I think he's probably going to fall during the race, Fred the Red. That's the problem with not having any any points for sprint qualifying, because now he's probably just going to fall to like P13, P14, and that's going to guarantee him like -5 points. And then where's he going to make up the rest of those spots? So he could be looking at another big price rise again, or price fall, unfortunately, because of this qualifying. So that's not great. Yeah, very stuck between Mercedes and Ferrari for Limitless. Yeah, I'll be on X tomorrow. I'll be on Twitter and stuff like that when the sims come out and all that fun stuff to talk about it. I just won't have a deadline live stream. So definitely follow me, F1 Fantasy UN on X, to just kind of get like my final thoughts before I hop on the plane here. McLaren, Haas, Piastri, Behrman, Bortoleto, Ocon, Hadjar. I like that. I like that quite a lot. Quick question, is Bortoleto looking at price increase this week? If so, what happens in Imola? Let's go check it out, Benads. As the star of the show, Oscar, joins us with some meowing at 11:11 at night. Although I guess I can't really talk. So this is Bortoleto. Scores 10 points, goes up, needs 1 for a good price rise in Imola. Kind of tempting. Mac Attack, thank you for joining. Appreciate you being around here. 80 people watching, 62 likes, so we're over 50%, but I don't think all of y'all have been here the entire time. So if you haven't liked the thumbs up yet, give me that thumbs up. Yes, this last 3 minutes are going to be insane. Norris and Piastri just haven't set a time. Russell's ahead of Verstappen by 0.2. Zakacha, yeah, Danny Rick did qualify pretty high, and no one really overtook, so anything is possible. But I don't know. That Aston Martin is seriously slow. I can't believe Alonso's put it up here in SQ3 right now. So that's where we're at. But let's see here. Okay, we'll set this up. Let's get F1 Dash back on. And we'll see how it's going. We got 2.5 minutes. Are we going to get some more madness? Adolfo says the last 3 minutes are going to be madness. I 100% agree. So Verstappen is doing a double cooldown, and I guess he's just going to go again on the same set of softs. Thoughts on getting Red Bull? I probably have to do a little bit more thinking about it, Max. But with Yuki qualifying all the way down there, it could be a cheeky punt. I don't hate that at all. 1 subscriber away from 2950, and then the countdown will well and truly be on to 3,000 because we'll be in the final 50 subscribers. So if you have not liked the stream, or if you have liked the stream but you are liking what you're seeing, hit that subscribe button. Help me out just a little bit. Would greatly appreciate it there. And like I was saying earlier, if you want some premium products for F1 Fantasy, if you go to f1fantasytools.com and use promo code UN50, you'll get 1 month off your 50% off your first month with promo code UN50. And over the next month, you have 4 Grand Prix. So that's kind of perfect. 1 minute to go. Are we going to get some madness here? We're going to get some madness, aren't we? Dang. 69% of people are saying Mercedes over Ferrari as of right now. But we'll see how much that changes over the next 57 seconds. Looks like Leclerc is going out first. Or is this Hamilton? This is Hamilton right now. Let's see how he does here. Lewis trying to regain some sprint magic where he won his first race with Ferrari. Hasn't won a Grand Prix yet, but does have a sprint race. So that's interesting. How close is he going to be? Is he going to be close to Russell? 0.2 off Russell. That's not good. Yeah, don't love that. Not at all. Damn. Went over 29.50. So we're 49 subscribers away from 3,000. The countdown is well and truly on, people. I really appreciate it. And we will get there over the course of the next triple header. Oh my goodness, there's another triple header coming up. Can you believe this? Nice pair of slacks. I will get to your question after the next lap. Go here. So Hamilton has gained some time there. Gone down from 3/10 to 1/10. So he's starting to get it back. But Verstappen is right there. Antonelli, fastest middle sector. Hamilton goes up to second. Verstappen is next, and then it'll be Antonelli. Oh, Verstappen's going to crush that time. He goes to the top of the times by 500ths. Antonelli. Oh, Antonelli on pole right now. That is wild. Let's see. Oh, I don't think Norris is going to get there. Is second. 1/10. Oh, Antonelli's on pole. Wow. Oh my God, that is sick. Let's go. Damn, beat Russell by 3/10. Holy guacamole. Let's go, Kimmy. That's sick. That is so cool. Oh, Russell's already... Did Russell not get a second? I guess Russell didn't get a second flying lap. He's already... Damn. Wow. 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 That is epic. Dang, that might have to... Yeah, I think that might be Mercedes. That is epic. That is epic. That is awesome. I'm super pumped. That is so cool. All right, yeah, let's that is so cool. That was awesome. I hope you guys had a good time watching that sprint quali, because that final 3 minutes was pretty freaking epic. All right, I'm going to answer some of these questions real quick, and then I'm going to do that little reset thing that I was talking about so that the final 15 minutes will be like my final thoughts. But for the people watching on YouTube later who didn't join me for the live stream, they will have to just watch this on replay, and they will not see me smiling like an idiot watching Kimi Antonelli claim pole. That was epic. I'd like some tire water. Ferrari and their pit stops seem tempting. Piastri, Hadjar, Bortoleto, Behrman, Lawson, McLaren, Ferrari. As far as I'm leaning towards, if the Limitless phase are high end of the Q3, does that kill Limitless? I mean, they should still score a bunch of points. It's really not that bad. Man, Max is doing better in his second lap. Ant P1. Antonelli just did something insane. Ant. Wow, crikey. Mercedes going nowhere. You love to see Ant and P1. Yes. This is epic. Yes, that was cool. The chat like blew up when Antonelli went across and got pulled. That is awesome. I have Piastri, Ocon, Behrman, Hadjar, Bortoleto, McLaren, Mercedes. What should I do? I don't think you have to do a lot there, sir. It might just be getting changed. You might be changing things for the sake of changing things. All those assets should go up in price. Zachaka says, I take Ferrari back. Antonelli's flying. Verstappen on used tires, though. I think this seals Mercs in the lineup, and that's why I'm choosing Mercedes and not Ferrari. I have Piastri, Ocon, Behrman, Hadjar, Bortoleto, Mercedes. What should I do? I think you're fine. That's a great... Wow, Mercedes great Ferrari for Limitless now. People need to switch Ferrari while I stay Mercs. Which LL team you take if ever? I'd probably go triple McLaren still. there's no way you're not going to have the pole sitter. Would you go Kimi, George, and Charles? Now that might be the way. Triple McLaren, triple Merc, and Verstappen. Yeah, Joshua agrees. Sichaka says, how dumb would Ant 2 times? That might be a little stupid. Not stupid, but optimistic? I think so. Michael says, have a safe trip, Ewan. Yes, thank you. What would be the best way to set up Limitless for Imola? Before I wanted to do Bortoleto and Ferrari, but now I don't know what I schooled to do the meta team. Yeah, I'm about to go over that here real quick. Zane says, McLaren, Mercedes, Piastri, ×2, Alonso, Bortoleto, Behrman, Hadjar. Any suggestions? Not a lot there. Not a lot of notes going on there, Zane. I like that. Ivan says, so this messes up my idea for the weekend. Agreed. Happy for Ant. Hope he can keep P1 off the fast lap against McLaren for entertaining sprint. Alonso or Lawson now too. More questions than answers from that. What about that Albon radio about the Merc? Yeah, I guess we'll see. About that. Hey, how's it going? I have Piastri, Antonelli, Behrman, Bortoleto, Hadjar, and McLaren, Haas. Any suggestions if I should switch things around? No, I think you're fine. I think you got a pretty good team there. Damn, Ant over Charles seems so risky. I know it does, but I mean, P1? Can't really argue with that. Although you kind of could, because sprint race is 8 points. But 8 points plus fastest lap is 13, so not too bad. Any thoughts on Yuki? I don't mind it. But, I mean, I know he got caught out, but if that's what he's got, then that's not great either. 110.9 million budget. Piastri, Antonelli, Behrman, Hadjar, Bortoleto, McLaren, Haas. Should I limitless? Yes, you should limitless, Matt. That's pretty nice squad. Any thoughts on Mercedes versus Ferrari, considering Ferrari's pit stop performance so far? Before sprint qualifying, I was saying Ferrari is in my thoughts, and they still are. But all right, guys, I'm gonna get into my little mini episode here. So but I'll answer I'll kind of do a weird little sign off thing, and then I'll try to answer as many questions for the last 5 minutes. But stick around, fill up the chat, that kind of thing, and I'll go over all this stuff, and hopefully I answer your questions while I kind of go through my thought process here. So just gonna reset real quick, and we will be good to go. So that was a pretty crazy sprint qualifying. That's kind of changed my thoughts a little bit. Kimi Antonelli on pole. George Russell in 5th. McLaren 2-3. Verstappen looked okay. Ferraris didn't look okay. So what I had in my head this whole week for my T1 squad was going to be Gasly doing Mercedes out for one of Lawson versus Alonso, which was going to be Lawson now because of that Q1 or Q2 exit compared to Alonso getting into Q3. So that would have been Lawson coming in, if I can find him here, along with Bortoleto, and then going to Ferrari and kind of upgrading all this stuff. So that was my T1 team thoughts. But I can't deny that just changed that sprint qualifying was super impressive. Mercedes looked pretty on it. They looked pretty on it in FP1. Alexander Albon said, I don't understand how that Merc is legal. So maybe that's something that we need to watch. I'm recording this literally right after SQ3 has wrapped up. It's 11:23 at night. So if anything comes out after this, if Mercedes kind of got disqualified, they did something naughty, I apologize in advance for that. But if I don't go with this is the kind of what I've been thinking about for the last 2 weeks, how to fix my squad, get Doohan out, get Gasly out, that sort of thing, and maybe take a little bit of a punt on Ferrari. But with Mercedes kind of hanging around now, I could leave Mercedes in there, and I don't need to take on Bortoleto. I could also get over here to the drivers and also get Fernando Alonso. Now, the problem with this is that if I can find this here, so Lawson here, he needs 8 points for a great price rise in Miami. But then that would result in him needing 13 points in Imola for another great price rise, which if I'm going to play my Limitless in Imola, I would prefer these assets to rise at least 0.8 over the next 2 race weeks. Alonso here, 11 points is needed for a great price rise, which might not happen considering he's now qualified P10 for the sprint. I expect him to fall a little bit. But if he did manage to reach those 11 points, he would need 1 point for a good price rise in Imola. And that is super tempting because I think even Fernando Alonso in that Aston Martin can get 1 point in Imola. So that is interesting. But Lawson here, 8 points and then 7. I feel a little bit safer with Lawson, especially because he qualified low in the sprint. We'll see what comes around and stuff like that. I'm actually recording this after I just went live on YouTube, or I'm still live on YouTube while I'm recording this. And I've been going for about an hour and a half right now. But Blake is here in the chat to remind me, I told you before quali that Mercedes would be fast. I was correct. Blake, you were correct. Great call by you, sir. So that's kind of my T1 squad thoughts. If we were going to go over here and build a limitless squad right now, which is entirely possible. I'm thinking about, I think I'm going to play limitless on my T2 squad. I could go over here and show you guys what my T2 squad right now looks like. So I've got Piastri, Bortoleto, Hadjar, Ocon, Behrman, McLaren, and Mercedes. All those assets should rise. So I'm thinking about playing limitless on this squad. If I hit limitless here, there are no sims out as of right now. It's 11:26 in Germany. So I'm just going to go off of weighted average. We're just going to see what the thing is. It still says McLaren, Mercedes, Piastri. Or wait, this is not right. This should have the limitless chip on it. I'm pretty sure I played limitless. So weighted average. Oh, I guess it would be form or something like that. That's not really going to work. So whatever. But Hallowed Sound said, do we get fantasy points for sprint qualifying? We do not get points for sprint qualifying. It's only for the sprint, for the main race qualifying, and then the Sunday race as well. Will I be going limitless in Miami with my current team as Pranav? I will be going limitless in Miami with this T2 squad here, Pranav, because in my T1 squad, I have Gasly and Doohan, who, if you look at the budget building, they are going to fall. They need very good weekends, and I don't think they're going to get there. So they're both going to fall, so I'm going to get rid of them. But the T2 squad, I'm pretty happy to use my limitless here. Piastri, Bortoleto, Hadjar, Ocon, Behrman, McLaren, Mercedes. I think as of right now, 5 minutes after SQ3 has ended, triple McLaren is still in play. And then it's probably going to Mercedes as the constructor, George as the third driver, Max as the fourth driver, and then it comes down to Charles versus Kimi as the fifth driver. And right now, I'm kind of leaning Kimi. Now, I might wake up in like a few hours and change my mind. So follow me on X at F1 Fantasy Ewan, because I'll put all my thoughts out there for the final time before I get on the plane tomorrow in a few hours. So just bear with me there. So I'm kind of getting in the weeds a little bit with this. But yeah, for Limitless, those are my thoughts for Limitless. I think I'm going Lawson over Alonso right now based on sprint qualifying. Yuki Tsunoda went out in SQ1. He is a little bit of an option. Could be a fun punt with Red Bull. I don't think I'd bring in Tsunoda, but Red Bull maybe enters the thinking a tiny bit. But with Ferrari having the pit stop advantage, Mercedes seemingly having the package advantage, it does feel like Red Bull is still the fourth option at constructor on the Limitless. There's a lot of people watching right now while I'm doing this kind of inside episode inside of a live stream. But yeah, so that's where I'm at. This T3 squad will need some fixing. It only has 2 free transfers. So Gasly's probably going to come out. Alpine could stay, because if we look at this here, Alpine needs 14 points to get a max price rise. So that is something, 8.9 million in the bank there. I mean, if we're getting real crazy here, I don't think, no, that's not going to work. But there's a world where, hold on, let me come back to the squad here. Let's go here. There we go. I could go Russell to Antonelli, and that would leave me with enough to get Carlos Sainz in, who went out in SQ2. But another thing is, and some people are pointing this out in the chat right now that you can see over there. There we go. Alexander Albon did say, I don't understand how that mark is legal. So there may be something that is going to come out after all of this that is going to go up in a few minutes as like a self-contained episode. But that's where my final thoughts are at. I hope I didn't miss too much. Let me just double check the weather. It looks like it's still going to be 65% chance of rain on Sunday. But I'm not so scared about it as of right now that I would play the no negative chip. So it's probably just limitless for those teams that are set up well. For my T1 squad, I'm still going to try and set myself up well for limitless in Imola. T2 squad, probably going to limitless in Miami. And then this T3 squad, I honestly have no idea. Gasly needs to come out. I'll probably keep Russell. So it might be Gasly and Alpine out for... I think I can get in... I could bring in Ocon. And then that would leave me... Okay, I'm not going to do that because then I got to bring in... So I can't go up to Ocon. So I could go down to Liam here, and that would give me enough to bring in Haas, and then that would also kind of set me up for limitless with this squad in Imola as well. But if you're watching this as like the episode over the next 12-ish hours before 18-ish hours, those are my final thoughts. I'm going to cut the video off here for the episode, but I'm going to continue answering your live stream questions for about 5 minutes. So I'm going to cut off the main video right now. Okay, guys. So now I'm going to answer as many questions as I can in the next 5 minutes so I can get into bed before midnight. But if you are watching, there's 200 of you watching. I always like to get to 50% likes on the YouTube channel when I'm going live. So I need about 100 likes. Or I need 100 total likes to get to the 50% kind of margin. So help me out here if you're just joining after SQ. Would greatly appreciate it. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, as you can see, the countdown to 3K is well and truly on. Okay, I'm going to go through these. I'm going to use both Mercedes, McLarens, and Max for my Limitless. Love that, Blake. Trying the Limitless as I have the template with Piastri, Hadjar, Ocon, Barron. Yep, don't mind that, Fernando, Antonelli, or Charles if Limitless. Oh, man, it's so tough because... like, winning the sprint race is only 8 points. So, yeah. My heart says Kimi, but my head does kind of say Charles. There, Oliver. Zane says, is the deadline before the sprint race or the quali? It's before the sprint race, Zane, so make sure you don't get caught out. Is 3x wildcard for Piastri a good option for this race, or should I save it? I would save it. Ivan. Jaime says, who are you thinking for Limitless? McLaren plus Mercedes, Russell plus Piastri, Norris, Verstappen, and Slip. Yeah, it's tough. Like I said, my heart says Kimi, my head says Leclerc. Having no Ferrari assets on Limitless is bold. I do think so as well. Who do you think DRS on Limitless? It's so boring. It's probably Piastri. But I really wouldn't mind taking a punt on Lando. I have the same team as your T2 squad, but instead of Ocon, I have Gasly. Should I swap Gasly for Ocon and go Limitless in a weird spot between your T1 and T2? Well, if you make a transfer and then you activate the Limitless BO, that transfer will be canceled and Gasly will fall. So you actually lose budget this week. So if you don't want to do that, just watch out. Ayush says Mercedes DSQ risk. Albon's comment, yeah. Got to watch out for that. I'll wake up in like 3 hours and see what's going on. Haas or RB? Haas, just because of Behrman rising through the field. Will you do Limitless with this team? Piastri, Hadjar, Behrman, Alonso, Doohan. No, I would not limitless with that team, Sankalp. I fear Mercedes broke the rules when it comes to the height. Can't take another double disqualification. Yeah, that would be brutal. Like, imagine if people go Mercedes on limitless this week, and then that team is broken up by another double disqualification. How about final fix, going from Haas plus Lawson to Kimi or Russell? I don't know. I don't know how that is going to work. I don't love it, Adil. Nixie says Mercedes will probably have to lift the car for qualifying so they don't get disqualified for too much plank wear. Yeah. Piastri DRS. That's a good point, Nixie. Sorry. Didn't mean to like just gloss over it. But yeah, we'll have to be wait and see for sure how that is looking. Piastri DRS, probably for me, yes. My current team is McLaren, Mercedes, Piastri, Behrman, Ocon, Hadjar, Alonso. Should I limitless this week with McLaren for blah, 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 blah. That's a good enough team that you can limitless this week. I've got Piastri, Behrman, Hadjar, Doohan, Ocon, Mercedes, and McLaren. Would you change anything? Maybe get Alonso in? I'd get rid of Doohan if I can, Archie. So that's what I would prioritize there. I'm surprised how much weight folks are placed on Albon's radio message. Yeah, maybe, but yeah, I mean, drivers are always looking for a little bit of an edge, but we'll see how that goes. I mean, if nothing comes of it, but it might be a little bit in the back of my mind. I have your T2 as well with 3 transfers. I think of Limitless, but I am scared. I don't think I'm scared of playing Limitless. Who are we going with 2 of, Alonso or Lawson? I'm leaning Lawson right now, David. I have McLaren plus Mercedes, and I'm thinking of final fixes, going with Haas over Mercedes, final fixing Lawson sprint points into Kimi or Russell. So you'd wait for them after the sprint race and then bring them in depending on where they qualify I don't hate that, Adil. It's a little complicated, but I don't hate it at all. I've got 110.1 with Alonso, Gasly, Mercedes. Should I go Lawson, Ocon, Mercedes, or still try for Ferrari? I like the Lawson, Ocon side actually quite a bit. My squad is Piastri, Behrman, Hadjar, Lawson, Alonso, McLaren, Mercedes. Should I hold? I think you should be like Braveheart and hold. Yep, I don't mind it. With the uncertainty on the rain, would you still do Limitless? Plus with McLaren performance, how about Ferrari? I don't think the rain worries me too much, but I am a little worried about Ferrari versus Mercedes. Like 1 lap pace on a Friday afternoon maybe shouldn't worry me too much. I've been thinking Ferrari all week or all 2 weeks, so I might still go there, but I might just be, no doubt about it, I'm ready to be hurt again. Mercedes or Ferrari for Limitless? It's really tough to not go with Mercedes right now, but if we hear anything over the next 18 hours about what just happened in SQ1, I think I'd go Ferrari because I think Charles looked okay. But if nothing comes of it, Mercedes might be worth it. I have McLaren, Alpine, Piastri, Russell, Bortoleto, Hadjar, Behrman. Do you think I can Limitless? Just worried about Alpine not getting max price rise. Alpine will probably get max price rise. 14 points is pretty doable for a constructor. Like, if you add in the pit stop points, any overtakes, Gasly gets into Q. If Gasly gets into Q3 tomorrow, that's 5 points right there. You should be fine, Isaac, so I don't mind it at all. Would you Limitless on McLaren, Mercedes, McLaren, Piastri, Ocon, Behrman, Bortoleto, Hadjar? Yeah, I like that quite a bit. Thinking whether I should go for Alonso instead of Ocon or let it be and save an extra transfer for Imola. If you're not planning to use your Limitless in Imola, Arshan, then I like it. Miguel says, would you Limitless with Piastri, Hadjar, Alonso, Behrman, Bortoleto? Yes, I wouldn't mind doing that at all. My team is Piastri, Ocon, Behrman, Hadjar, Bortoleto. Limitless or no? If so, who do I include? Says Nixie, one of the OGs supporters of F1 Fantasy. Pole position. Yeah, I think you're fine there, Nixie. I don't really have a strong preference, but it's like not a definite no to that. And then I think I go triple McLaren, Max, and then 2 of George, Kimi, or Charles. But it's really hard to go against the pole sitter. But he could drop. I mean, he's never led before. Maybe I go Charles and George. Alonso realistically can only drop. Yeah, I agree with that. Keeping Layla for Monaco or Monza said they're low to no overtakes. Kind of second guessing. LL this week with Alonso in the team. Am I too cautious, especially as the delta could be 120 points or more? Nickname my with a super chat. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Says Antonelli equalizes Hamilton's record of pole in the 7th race. Sure, just sprint, but still. Yeah, that is epic, man. That is awesome. Like, I'm pretty pumped. He said he has no idea how that Mercedes is legal, Norris. So we got to watch out for something there maybe, but we'll see. It could just be a driver trying to get another team in trouble. Limitless with McLaren, Mercedes, Piastri, Alonso, Bordello, Berman. I have 3 transfers remaining, by the way. Yeah, it's a good squad to Limitless. Yeah, it's not bad at all. Take out Alonso, Bordello, and Mercedes for Ocon, Albon, and Haas to Limitless and Imola. Albon might fall interstate _40, so you got to watch out for that this week, but could rise back up the following week, so I don't know. Rain would make me feel better about Limitless. Clean rises top in those conditions. Yeah. Are there any good final fix opportunities this week? Really won't know until after qualifying, Joshua. Nothing has come from Albon saying how is that Mercedes legal yet, but let me just check here. There are a lot of tweets. Hopefully it's not because... No, nothing yet, but I am recording this at 11:40, so just watch out for that. Nickname thank you for the super chat. I'd say the 2 best performances of this quality were Antonelli, Hulkenberg. Sauber shouldn't be 11 at all. 79% of y'all are saying Mercedes over Ferrari. Merck might lose positions because of McLaren and Ferrari cannot go forward. Yeah, that's fair. Bordello or Alonso. Probably Bordello. Isn't Kimi dangerous for losing track position based on lack of front field experience? Possibly. Ocon or Alonso? I'd go Ocon. Would you go with Piastri, Berman? I would get Gasly out of my team there, Henry. So with all the unknowns with the rain and performance, Mercedes, would we hold on to the limits till Monza? Maybe not till Monza, but the next race is actually in Imola, not Monza. But if you're talking about the next race in Italy, then yes, I think so. I've got Piastri. What are your plans for this week? This is my T1 squad. Gasly and Doohan are coming out. If I make 2 free transfers, it'll be Gasly and Doohan out for probably Lawson and Bortoletto / Alonso. But if I make 3 free transfers, it'll be Gasly for Lawson, Doohan for Bortoletto, and Mercedes for Ferrari. Max has just been summoned. Maybe that's for his impeding. Not sure if you mentioned what's the best Limitless team. Do I think it'll be triple McLaren with Max probably now if he's getting summoned, along with 2 of George, Kimi, and Charles. And I think right now I'm still kind of leaning George and Charles. For your T1 team, any thoughts of putting Kimi in for George? Probably safer bet for longevity with George. Yeah, not a bad call. Alonso or Lawson? I'm leaning Lawson right now. How many points lost per position lost? It's 1 point per position lost. If I choose Ocon and not Lawson, how many points will it be needed for him to do max price rise next week? So Ocon, if Ocon scores 12, he'll need 17 next week. And he's probably not going to get that at Imola. But if he scores more, if he scores like 20, then we're looking at 9 points maybe. So that could be a little bit better as well. But guys, that is going to do it. It's been an hour and 43 minutes of live streaming. So I really appreciate everyone putting up with me, commenting, liking, growing the channel. Really appreciate it. If you're watching this at any later time, hit the like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I'm going to go catch about 3.5 hours of sleep. And I will be tweeting while I'm in the Frankfurt airport, probably having a beer mosa at 7 o'clock in the morning. Beer mosa is orange juice plus beer. Would highly recommend, especially with the German Hefeweizen. And which of Alonso, Lawson, or Ocon? I'd Ocon for points and for immediate budget rising. Lawson for probably 2 weeks. And Alonso maybe for this week. But yes, super appreciate everyone joining the live stream. All that fun stuff. And yeah, hopefully everyone has a good weekend in Miami, and I will be back with a bunch of content coming out over the next 2 weeks. So I really, really appreciate it. Thank you for all the likes, all the subscribes. Hopefully Miami goes well. I'll tweet my final squad out on F1 Fantasy Ewan, on X, Blue Sky, TikTok, all that fun stuff. But once again, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you next time.